So welcome back to Farming Simulator 22 and the second video in my series on Courseplay. Today we're going to have a look at combines, so how to set up a combine course, what I do for what I think is a sensible combine course, and also the combine self-unload option. We'll cover that in the second half of the video, and that's where you can stick a trailer near the field and the combine will take itself off to the trailer and self-unload. Quick thing up front, if you're enjoying the videos, please click subscribe at the bottom. If you're not, it's really helping the channel out, growing really quickly at the moment, and it would be awesome if we could hit 1,000 subs soon. So yeah, if you're enjoying these videos, click subscribe, click like as well, and leave a comment. And I'm using version 7.009 of Courseplay for this video. Things may change as Courseplay gets updated. It is getting a lot of updates. So let's jump in. Same as before, into the worker help menu to create a course. And then we do create job and we select Courseplay fieldwork. I like to set a target that is about where I want the course to start and facing in the direction that I already have the combine facing. And then select first waypoint and then open course generator, and then you see we've picked up the width automatically, and then we've got options for field center, so you can do a racetrack, a spiral, up down, which is the normal one, and that will work. But the problem with an up down course is you'll find that on some rows the auger will be facing into the crop. Courseplay will sort that out for you. It'll move the combine over so you can unload, but it's not quite so nice. So you might want to look at using the lands mode, which is probably my preferred option. Spiral and racetrack both work similarly, and they run the combine around the outside of the crop, again keeping the auger out, but lands is what I prefer. Corner modes, you've got either sharp, rounded or smooth. Sharp again is what I prefer because that leaves less crop on the ground. The sharp turn does quite a hard turn and then a cut in. Round and smooth are both similar and they just do a gentle turn. They are faster, so if you're in a hurry, they are a faster way to get the field cleared. Just to let you know, I'm recording the voiceover for this afterwards because it was the easiest way of getting the footage for this. So if things seem a little bit disjointed, that's why. Headlands, I like two. Two seems to work quite well. Obviously, you can have from 0 up to, I think, 40 headlands. Two seems to work. Headland direction, generally, I think you want clockwise, again, to keep the auger out of the field for unloading. Start direction, I've only used automatic with this version, and obviously you want to start on headlands. So then we hit generate fieldwork course, and we get our course, and then you can close the window, and as you can see there we have a nice course. The field is quite small and the combine is quite big, so we only have 2 islands or 2 lands. So we'll run around the headland and then up the middle of the first land, opening up the field, finish that off, and then do that second mini land. Not sure why I was waving the mouse around crazily like that, but hey, it obviously made sense at the time. There are some things that we might want to look at in the settings, which I think is where we are going to go next, that are particular to a combine. Saving the course. So yeah, if you click on, you need to click on, you have a folder created, and then click on that folder and click Save Course, and then activate, and then it'll ask you for the course name. So this is useful for like me recording this. I do this over and over again for a few different options. So it's a useful thing. Courseplay settings, wages you might want to reduce. The bits at the bottom are to do with the combine, but I wouldn't touch them. What you might want to scroll down to are the combine settings. I like to have tool raising late and early. Saves you missing some crop. And then the ones that you might want to play around with are, so the first one is unfolding the pipe when the combine's full and stops. Stop while unloading. You might want to do that. I've left it as deactivated. I've yet to try this with auto drive to see how that works. It may be better with auto drive to have it deactivate, to have it activated so the combine stops. Combine self unload we'll look at in a little while. And then we have straw swath. It's weird, the cursor seems to be in the wrong position. Anyway, so you've got straw swath disabled, straw swath on headlands only, or straw swath activated. I have found that there are some funnies slightly with this. I'm really not sure why the cursor's out of place. That's really weird. Sorry about that. So we'll, because we've gone away from the window, we need to recreate the job. So if you just click on create job, set the target in the same place, select Courseplay fieldwork and first waypoint, and then you can hit start job and the combine will go. A couple of funnies with the development version. I found that randomly it will fold and unfold implements. It'll unfold it again when we get into the right spot. The other thing that I've found with combining is that the straw swath is a bit funny. So although we've set it to active on here, you see we're not getting a straw swath, which I will fix in a moment. But first we're just going to have a look at how the combine does the tight turn. So it cuts right into the corner of the field and then backs up and does a cut in again in this direction, so that it's then got room to turn. On a map like Erlangratt, which I'm recording this on, it doesn't make a lot of difference, to be honest. But if you're on a fairly tight UK European map with hedgerows all around the fields, especially if those hedgerows have got collisions on them, this will really help with not missing crop and staying in the field. The smooth and the rounded turns, to be honest, do stay in the field, but you always miss a bit, so you have to go back. It's a trade-off. And personally, I do vary it, but I just thought I'd show you these tight turns because they are a bit different and they're quite nicely implemented. So now we're going to go on to having a look at fixing the fact that we don't have straw. And I don't know if you can see at the back of the combine, the thing that spreads chaff, I don't know what it's called, is busy spreading chaff. So we'll go quickly into the Courseplay settings and just check I haven't screwed those up. And no, straw swath is activated, and changing that doesn't seem to fix things. So we can try clearing the course and reloading the course, see if that helps as well. And that doesn't do it. And what I find out is that what we need to do is to enable the straw swath on the combine first. This was a brand new combine, you can see it's only got 0.2 hours on it, and as default it seemed like straw swath was off, and Courseplay wasn't overriding that. Whether that's because this is a development version of Courseplay, I might actually drop that on the GitHub for Courseplay to see if that's an issue with this version of Courseplay or not. But you can see at the moment on the F1 menu, I had straw swath disabled. I have enabled the straw swath, so we have straw swath enabled, and we have it enabled in Courseplay and straw swath. So that's fixed that issue. Might be a development problem, might be something else. So let's get the combine emptied. So we'll jump in this quad track. It's a good excuse to use the quad track. That's not something I use very often. You will see, because we're on the first headland and there's no room for the tractor for the combine to unload, the combine tries to back up and cut in, but because it's on a corner, it does something really quite weird. And I would definitely recommend not letting the combine get full on a corner, because what happens is it empties a bit and then decides it wants to finish its maneuver, and then gets on some weird route which is halfway between the two headlands and just keeps going. Again, I assume this is a development thing. It's easy enough to fix. Just jump in the combine and hit H to turn the worker off, and then we'll back up and we'll get it back on track and hit H again to start the worker off again. And I do love the integration of the fact that you can just hit H and it will kick off Courseplay again. So you don't have to worry about going into the menus and using the HUD and things. You can just hit H and Courseplay will take over from the worker, which is pretty cool. I quite like that. So yeah, the first headland is always a bit tricky with Courseplay. It's just unfortunate that when I was recording this, we got to the point where we were full on a corner. But it's highlighted an issue and it shows you how to fix it. So just going to have a look at another one of those turns as we come up to finishing the first headland. And then I think I do skip forward at that point to coming around to the end of the second headland. Apologies for the lack of game sound. I had planned to include game sound in this, but someone had the game muted while they were recording, and yeah, I normally play without the sound on because most of my videos are time lapses. So yeah, and because sometimes I find the sound annoying. I'm quite sensitive to noise. So anyway, finishing the second headland. My tip for that is as you come up to the end of the headland, make sure the combine has got enough space in it to cut through a full row. So you'll see that the combine then starts to run a cut through the field and start to open the field up. At the end of the run, it'll turn left, and that means then that the auger will always be inside while it finishes this land off. And that works really nicely, I find, particularly on big fields. Something that Courseplay doesn't support yet is multiple tools. You could do multiple tools. I think if you let one combine run the headlands, and then you could set one combine off on each land and they won't interfere with each other. So you could still run multiple combines, you just can't run them in the way you could in the old Courseplay at the moment. I expect that will change. Remember, this is a development version. So you can see now the combine is keeping the auger into the space that's been opened up. And that's the first version. We're now going to have a look at running the combine self-unload. So everything else is set up the same. We're just going to activate combine self-unload. Again, apologies for the cursor position being a bit weird. And I've enabled the straw swath. So we're going to load up the correct course. So we'll clear off that random course that I had loaded. We'll click X to load the course and select the course, the video course. And there we go. And then we're going to need to create a job and select Courseplay fieldwork and then set our target on the map. And then we'll select first waypoint and start job. So the big difference with this one is that you don't need to cart for the combine. Now, this is in development still, and what I found is it's quite sensitive to how you place that trailer for the combine to unload in, and based on what I've tested, I would recommend that you cart for the first headland to make space in the field. Otherwise the combine seems to have trouble, and it might be that if the field boundaries are big enough, you might be able to put the trailer further away. But my advice is cart on the first headland, and then I found you need to place the trailer kind of right on the edge of the field, and that seems to work. It takes a couple of goes to get the trailer position right as well. If you don't get it perfect, just jump in and help the driver out and then get it going again. So the idea of this mode is if you had a really big farm, you could take a big trailer, so just filled up, combine is driving off to unload. You'll see there's kind of a flash of white as it calculates the route to get to where it needs to be. And then it's going to drive down the field to the trailer and unload. And so the idea of this is if you had a really big farm and you had lots of other jobs to do as well as combining, you could leave Courseplay with the combine and an auger wagon or a big trailer and just let it harvest the field for you if you wanted. And yeah, it'll just work away on its own quite happily. You don't need to watch it or anything, and it'll then run back to where it was, turn around and get stuck back into harvesting. So as I was saying here, you have to experiment a bit with positioning of the trailer so that the combine can easily get to unload. So again, we've just done the cutting and we're full. Combine does a really nice 3-point turn there, runs back down and gets itself to the trailer. I'm really impressed with the route finding that they've got in Courseplay for getting this combine back to the trailer. Yeah, so you see it just does a really nice turn, drives up, unloads. It's so good. Sometimes that's where I said that trailer positioning is quite important, because if you don't get the trailer right, the combine struggles with the turn. And I tried a modded combine and I really struggled to get it to work, and I'm not sure if that's because it's a modded combine or because I wasn't getting the trailer in the right place. But yeah, experiment with it a bit. It's in development still, We've got this less than about a month after the game's been released. So this will just happily work away now. I thought this was doing quite a cool maneuver, so I left it in. It's not actually in slow motion, it's running in real time. It just looks like it's slow motion because everything else you've seen for the last few minutes has been sped up. But yeah, the way it did that turn I thought was quite clever. So They've definitely put some thought and effort into the pathfinding. So next videos I'm going to do in this kind of series, I'm going to jump back to AutoDrive. So to link Courseplay and AutoDrive together. Actually, before I talk about that, so if you're used to the old Courseplay, you might sometimes put the waypoints up like I have got here. I used to find that quite useful for starting off multiple combines and things. So if you wanted to do that thing with setting off a combine on the second land, and to get to that, you go into the menu and you go to the settings, and it's just at the top there, show course activated, deactivated, or start finish, which is the default. If you're making videos like I do, you might want to turn them all off so that sometimes you don't have those markers in the background. Anyway, so going next steps, I'm going to go back to AutoDrive and do a video linking Courseplay and AutoDrive with combining, because that's going to work really well with trying to do more complicated things with Courseplay for karting. And also sticking with Courseplay, I want to do it'll be a fairly quick one on how to take this course that we've used and get it to run a baler with Courseplay. If you're used to FS19 Courseplay, it's not going to surprise you how to do that. But if you're new to Courseplay, that's quite a useful feature. So yeah, next two videos in this kind of series of AutoDrive and Courseplay will cover those two things off. I know I've said it already, but if you found this video useful, please subscribe. The channel's growing really quickly at the moment, and it'd be really nice to get to that magical 1,000 subs soon. This video is coming out on New Year's Eve, and it would be really nice if I could hit 700 on New Year's Eve. If you've got comments, drop them below. I do try and answer all of the comments. If you're just going to rant that things aren't the way you like them, you can do it if you want. I'll probably tell you to go and talk to the creators and see why they've done things the way you don't like. And like, dislike, any interaction is good. So thanks for watching, folks. Hope you found this useful, and I'll catch you next time here on Farming Simulator 22.